Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week of MMO Concept Art. This is Steve Curtis. I'm here with Wolf and Richard. And what you got for us, Wolf?
Well, since they haven't seen this before necessarily, uh, this is how my alien, the Eleuthian, uh, 3/4 perspective view turned out.
Very nice.
So there's that, and so then it's about modeling clothes on it, which this is what I've done so far, and again, that's uh, this is for the assassin character class.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of going for uh, an earlier stage, assuming that you can upgrade, which I think we all are. So as you upgrade, uh, visually you would see uh, uh, more cool-looking gear and just looking a bit more elite. And so here it is. I think it's looking pretty good. I'd like to hear what Sergio thinks. But what do you guys think?
That's coming along really nice. Actually, I liked the original, but seeing it with some depth and perspective, I like it better.
Yeah,
That is, yeah,
me
pretty
too.
awesome.
All right. And I made some change, like here I have a lot of, all these lines. You see, like the little straps, like um, they were supposed to be. But I just thought one would be a thicker one would actually look better. So I went that route.
Are the on the legs underneath the I don't know, skirt, whatever we want to call it? Is that meant to be like wrappings or
You mean up here?
yeah, underneath that?
This is armor.
No,
Yeah,
underneath
but
that.
the strapping right beside that, yeah, on the inside of the leg.
Oh, this stuff? You mean on?
No, the little fiddly bits.
You mean this
Oh,
part?
there we go. Okay.
These are like the
Yeah,
straps that hold.
All right.
Uh,
When it was backed out on my screen,
yeah,
it looked almost like leather wrapping. I
leather
couldn't.
wrapping.
Yeah, I couldn't. The detail was kind of blending, so I couldn't really see the individual
Yeah.
lines.
All right. So so yeah, there's it's kind of there's something here probably like leather that's just underneath. Oh, I missed this line right here. Um, but but then these are just straps to hold the heavy armor, heavier armor anyway.
sweet.
Very
And
nice.
then and then the these under here are very similar to what my friend would call sock boots. He gave me a hard time for drawing on a night. I gave him boots that kind of were form-fitting like this, and he called them sock boots. And he was right. They were kind of silly. Um, but for this, these I think of these more as as gloves. More like what's
Well, I
uh,
mean, to me, they immediately reminded me of Tabby.
tabby.
Yeah, the Japanese shoes.
I'm not aware of this.
Ninjas wear them.
Okay.
I'll
The
have to look into it.
the they're a very soft-soled shoe
Yeah.
with this big toe split so that you can grip.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's basically the same idea. It's like I mean, I just see them as wanting their toes and claws out and being useful.
Yeah.
But so anyway, this is just like the first stage, and then later there'll be armor that like plated armor for up here, but this is some protection. But really, I mean, I this has to be very flexible, so it can bend, so they can um, stand up like they do with their heels up when they're running, and also um, the grasp onto things and stuff that they're gonna want. They're gonna want that they're gonna want armor here over. Uh, I mean, they're gonna want flexibility here over any kind of armor. I was talking to a friend um, about it, and he was saying like him and some people he knows that uh, uh, they really get tired after a while in things like WoW, for example, World of Warcraft, where you have some things like goblins or trolls or whatever they are with the big feet um, out, and there's armor everywhere else, and it just kind of gets it feeling kind of ridiculously unnecessarily vulnerable and stuff. But I told him because I showed him my alien that drawing my alien. Um, um, but anyway, I just think that these guys would definitely want to utilize their feet for uh, different dexterity reasons. It would be much more useful for them, and it's not really that crazy because I mean there's a lot of games where the hands aren't guarded, and and a lot of times there's not even any kind of helmet on the head and stuff. So it's not that out there. But it's interesting. He said that he would probably be more okay with it if they actually if the animation and such actually showed uh, that the feat as being more useful this way versus just kind of stumbling around kind of
Yeah.
um, um,
No,
goofily.
I mean, for what it's worth, when I first saw him, Tabby is what I thought of, and it seemed like a perfectly natural fit to me. I can see where he's coming from, where you have these guys who have 800 pounds of armor on and gigantic feet with absolutely nothing, and yes, I would shove a sword through their foot. That would be my first line of attack.
Right. But I think, I mean,
But I
even
think I think it's comparing apples and oranges a little bit between that and this.
well, yeah. Well, this guy. I mean, I didn't show him this armor. I just showed him the guy, and he was just thinking about what the armor might be. But um, I think this is different because this is light armor anyway. So so you have different expectations from light armor. But if it was, some of the guys that want to that like that big heavy armor guy, that uh, tank armor guy, um, like him, at least as of yet, I don't have anything uh, for the feet. And now I might do something like this because he has that organic armor, that base organic armor. I might do something like that because that looks like it's flexible and stuff. But I don't really think I'd put anything hard on it. I mean, you could put a couple plates here and maybe, but it's just like I I think that still they would find it more useful to be able to move their foot, uh, be able to bend their feet and stuff.
Well,
Uh,
you could have a couple of, sorry, disconnected metal plates or something like that. There's a bit of
that's
room
what I
between
meant.
them. So
That's what I
that would
meant.
allow flexibility, and I'm pretty sure if you get kicked in the face by a couple
Right.
pieces of metal, it's not going to be a good end to your day.
Yeah, and I might I'll at least try and see how those look. And of course, with that suit, it wouldn't be metal. It'd be that organic hardening growth stuff that um, comes out as armor that they
Yeah.
grow out. So I mean, it could be something that I could see that for a tank, but for like the DP guy, I couldn't see, like, I mean, he has like that snake skin armor thing. At least we'll be doing that at some point as he levels up. And and so it might be something like that, and that's protection. But he's definitely going to want to be able to move fast and react that that would be so much more valuable than having plates there. That I think just makes sense to me.
Yes, indeed, I do agree.
As do I.
But yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I was, I liked the old designs a lot. I was
mhm.
a little afraid that they would translate as more old school and less sci-fi.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
It does,
think you
does
have
have a very
alleviated that. Yeah.
I
yeah.
like
It
that.
does.
Yeah, it's a
It
good
does
comment.
have a different does have a different look, and that's kind of what I was saying. I was saying these ones are just like shapes because you don't really get their volume too much, and the basic idea of these things, and then like trying to do them in a practical way um, with in 3D things that work out a little bit differently, and yeah, I mean it's just like look, just even this down here doesn't look as nice. I mean, well, not it just it implies what I needed it to imply to give me the idea.
Yeah,
Uh,
gets the point across.
that's
Yes,
what.
it gets the it gets the point
Yeah,
across.
right. And so basically, um, with this, uh, I have this kind of material on the edge. This is material, and then over here you're seeing some of the dimension as it's going back because I wanted to add a thickness to it.
Gotcha.
So that's adding a thickness on this one. It has a thickness here. You can see, like it right here. This is just like a material that is on the edge of it, and then here you can see its thickness. But that's one thing that it's you have to keep in mind. It's really easy to kind of lose the concept of thick of having volume to it and to clothes and stuff, and having clothes that end up being like paper thin. So, but yeah, I mean, just any kind of now I don't know if the perspective is perfect or anything, but
I think it turned out
I'm,
pretty
I'm,
well.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm kind of I think it's at least somewhat believable. Whereas it's going to label.
I thought it turned out fine. I think that all the work you put into getting his anatomy set up is paying
Yeah,
dividends.
right.
Agreed. Yeah.
I don't know where. Oh, here we go. Like I did these lines to kind of get the sense of this the armor that's underneath these plate things. How, don't know that I necessarily have that completely correct, but I needed to kind of get an idea of how to put these plates on, how they would form on uh, to something that's actually curving, not just straight.
That looks good. Yeah.
But that's how I did. I really should have had made lines go the other way too, and I could have made sure I was right by doing techniques I really should have done, but I think at the end of the day, I think it works. I think this looks like it's on this
Yeah.
well enough, and especially when I shade it, it'll look more like that. But especially anything I draw always looks way better when it's smaller. It's yeah, I'm like,
That's definitely a concept art take.
right.
Well,
But
looking at this guy, there's nothing about him that says savage or
right, yeah.
any
This
of that stuff. So
this looks there's a nice blend of kind of old school, and it almost looks high tech in the way it's just in just the design of it, not like actually necessarily its features, but
yeah.
but yeah. So it'll be interesting. I haven't put his this little fanny pack thing on yet. This thing, couple of knives here, and then whatever there. So that'll be neat when get that on. But then that's pretty much it for basic costume, and then start adding some of the other stuff. Which I mean, this has turned out like back here. I was worried that this would be just, it might be a little too boring. When you start off, not look like a cool assassin thing. But this is actually working, I think.
Agreed.
So it's actually, it's more, I think it's a lot more interesting than just to look at. So so I think that would be good, but I think it'll just continue to be interesting to look at. Probably, hopefully be increasingly interesting to look at.
Yeah, it's I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I'm pleasantly surprised with that 3/4 view. It's even more than I was expecting.
It kind of is more than I was expecting too. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, there's little things, and I go, oh, I'm not sure about that, and that these little things that are just are more going to bother me than just the casual observer of it. But all in all, and especially not zoomed up, I think it's working pretty nicely. I was hoping that that Sergio would make an appearance and weigh in his thoughts before I do nice line drawings on. See if there's anything.
Personally, from the outside looking in, I don't see anything wrong with it. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, at the end of the day, we're all our own worst critics.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Well, it's good. It's good. That's how we improve. You know?
Yeah. Like, I've lost track of the number of times that something isn't working right with that pistol model, and everybody else is like, dude, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but I think
Wait,
I mean
wait a
I
minute. Go back to the original. Yeah. All right. I couldn't remember if he ever had any kind of headpiece or band or anything.
well I forgot in this stage to do any kind of mask, which I'm planning on doing for Final Sit. I'm actually planning on doing two different kind of mask things. I might even have um, something like a cloth or maybe leather even. I don't know, some kind of uh, mask thing. I mean, it could be a metal thing, but probably not because I think uh, just like something that's just like under the eyes, just covering that area, and then I was thinking a whole like a at the end a big like a mask with the eyes cut out. That's is kind of like a Japanese samurai mask thing.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so I think if that's done interesting, he could then look like a more of uh, a BA. So gonna try that at least. But yeah, and then there's also after I get all this done, I also want to do a version with hair, and I was thinking the version with hair. I kind of wanted to put um, some kind of band or something, kind of almost like a do-rag, but different. So kind of, just to hold some hair, kind of back and stuff. It just makes sense, this guy. But I'll try some of that stuff. But I mean, I think it's important to do it this way because I mean, probably not at first in the game will we be able to do a lot of customizing, but eventually they'll be customizing, and it's best to start um, with a bald uh, model, and then add different kinds of hairs from there.
Yeah.
So
Well, as far as yeah, as far as the overall customization of the character and for the MOBA, we could probably look at some basic stuff for the face and whatnot, or the skin, but I think most of the outfit customization is going to come along in the open world.
yeah, right. No, yeah. I think really the only customization in the MOBA is going to be, I mean, like you said, it'd be things like that basic look. But I think other than that, it's upgrade, and it depends on if it's upgrades that you buy or just upgrades that you level up to, or it depends on how that's going to work. Um, Maybe a little of both, but that's so you're gonna you know look differently in stages versus just any old thing, because it's much better that way if people can look at you and recognize and go, okay, they are that far along, so this is, oh, they're kind of scary high,
Yeah,
that
I'll
kind
run
of,
away now.
yeah. And that it actually brings up a topic I want to discuss. Um, I was thinking about it, and it seems like none of us here are really MOBO fans. I think we're all a little bit more interested in action anyway.
I don't know what you're
I just
talking
thought
about. I
I
wholly
just thought
deny that.
I just thought it's kind of it's it does seem a little weird that not like non-fans are putting so much time into uh, designing that particular kind of game, and I was thinking of it, and do you guys know what Monday Night Combat is? That game?
I've
I
never heard of it.
do not.
It's basically an action MOBA. Now, I thought it was great at first. I have it for the 360 Xbox. But then they had certain problems that kind of it ruined the experience for me, so I don't play. But I still wish I had something like what I thought that was going to be. And I was thinking, it's like I was thinking after Richard was talking the other night about wondering if we could do some action type things and even Sergio was talking about maybe we don't lock on, maybe we aim kind of thing,
Yeah.
and I uh, already know Steve's a big first person shooter guy, so
Well, that's
um,
just a confirmed rumor.
yeah, I had a dream and I just assumed it's but
Oh, Jesus, don't make me laugh.
sorry. Uh, um, so, uh, so I was thinking, uh, I got really excited about the idea. Is like we should make a mob. Okay. Even before I go there, I was talking to my friend about it, and he's just kind of like, good luck getting in um, the MOBA, getting kind of noticed in that um, community because it is a popular thing, but they have really big MOBA games already, and it's like being able to set ourselves apart. It seems like we really need to set ourselves apart to get people interested and give something different because it's like I mean people I think probably there's I know there's people who are making money off of it. Maybe people are uh, uh, professional gamer MOBA people, and it's just like so it's like why are some of those people gonna come to our game when there's these huge. I mean, there's like what's it called? Uh, where the Warcraft, the Blizzard. Oh no, okay, Blizzard is making one.
Yeah.
Talked about the other day. So that's going to be huge, and it's like there's a lot for people to do in those ones, and for us to pull the audience when they could just go, it, getting better at those ones. It's kind of a tricky thing, and it's like we do have kind of the not stuck in the overhead view thing. So I mean, yeah, we can do more 3D stuff with our maps, but in and of itself, I don't think that's enough. But it's like it seems like I I, I don't know. I mean, it's the Monday Night Combat thing before it became apparent its obvious flaws, at least what me and my friend found to be. Um, and it was pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of potential there. I mean, it's like it had the you had your base structure thing that that you needed to protect, and you pushed out, and you had waves um, of mob guys. I don't know what your
Good
AI,
guys, bad guys. Yeah.
your AI guys, and they had waves of their AI guys, and so it's like, especially at first, you really wanted to stay with them so you wouldn't just get overpowered. Um, and I don't remember exactly how the whole I don't remember how if there was towers or not, but you would, like, the waves would meet up, and so it's like, if you um, could kill a lot of um, help kill a lot of their AI guys in that wave, then your guys would move up faster. Yeah, there must have been I don't know. But anyway, you had like these different classes that you could be, and you're I mean, it was all a first person shooter, and uh, and there's the players on the enemy team trying to kill you. They had one thing. They had a ninja that could go stealth, go into stealth mode, and come up behind you and kill you. And but there was ways of discovering it and stuff, so they had to be smart about it. And um, it, it was very difficult to, after that kill, not get killed yourself, in many cases. But people did do it, they were really good at it.
Oh,
What?
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But it was pretty impressive. Now the big mistakes that I found that kind of made it well, not unplayable, but it just made it not worth the time, was one, they had the snipers got too good. They were able to just, like, shoot fire after fire. It's like there wasn't enough of a cooldown. So it's just like, and I know there was bonuses, so it's probably worse. I mean, it's definitely worse when they were getting certain kind of bonuses and stuff. But so that, I mean, they were able to kind of just halt you from going a certain path, and it was just, and you're having to hide, and it's just, I don't know, it kind of ruined that dynamic. And then they had this thing, and like the whole, all the rings, they had, their sides were open, so you could actually fall off. But so they had this move. I don't know. At least there was at least a unit. I don't know if there's more than one, but they could just do this crazy knockback thing. They like slam the ground in front of you or something and knock you back. I don't really remember, but you would go flying. So it was like really easy. Like, there was ways some people would be able to kind of like freeze you, and they would come up and go bam, and you'd fly off the map. Okay, that was great. I had really, it went from full health to off the map. And it's just like, okay, and that was very unsatisfying. I mean, I get it was kind of satisfying maybe to people who are knocking you off, but it was kind of a cheap way of of doing that, and it just got frustrating. It just wasn't satisfying. And then the worst thing was people could get um, uh, so they could do some upgrades, like I don't know, they could, before they bought like this juice or something that would make them powerful. I don't know how, I don't remember how they did it, but I think they could come up, uh, maybe with a sniper or something. I don't know. They could come up to your base, and they could kill your base before anybody could get back to it. You know, it's like if they killed someone who was maybe guarding it, and then it's like it would just went, and it's, are you kidding me? We had, our base was like full, almost full, or something, you know, and it just like went down like that, and that was a big drag, because it's like, okay, well, I guess we wasted our time that someone got the I win button and pressed it. So there were things like that that kind of ruined the game. But if it wasn't for those things, it was very fun and addicting before. I mean, they did make changes in it. They would patch it and stuff, and but I think it's also people learned how to kind of exploit certain things, and but I also think there was a mindset to reward kind of people in cheap ways, kind of like that. And it's like, oh, you get to feel like a demigod without really deserving it for a little bit, you know. And I don't know. It's
Well, did you ever play? I don't know. Chances are the answer is no. But did you ever play a game called Rescue Raiders?
no.
It's well, ancient would be the best term to describe it. It was an old side-scrolling game, essentially, for the Apple IIe. And essentially it was base versus base type environment. Each level had a collection of like anti-aircraft batteries and huts and bunkers and all kinds of stuff like that. And the player operated a helicopter. Now, I'm not saying we need to go through, you know, air power or anything like this for that, but I'm just providing a basic rundown for the gameplay. And you basically had money come in at a certain rate, and you could use that money to purchase tanks, infantry, engineers, anti-aircraft vehicles, and stuff like that. The only thing that could kill the base was a weak and unarmed demolition truck. And so, anyway, it was a pretty neat game, especially for its time. It actually provided a lot of challenge. Your helicopter had bombs, machine guns, and missiles, basically. Every now and then when you fire off a missile, it would be a dud, so it just kind of falls off the rail and goes down into stuff, and more often than not, it would go down into my demolition truck.
And you think that's similar to a MOBA, action MOBA?
No, not really.
No.
But it's just there was a lot
Bizarre
more.
tangent.
Well, there was a lot more opportunity to control the shape of the battlefield, because as you take more territory, you know, for example, if one of your tanks destroyed an anti-aircraft battery, your engineers would run up and fix it. And at that point, it starts shooting the other guy. But I don't know. It was a very basic form of map control that, for some reason, MOBAs today don't really seem to have quite as much. But I think the main reason we went with the MOBA initially was because we wanted to do something that was multiplayer in nature, but of a smaller scale than the open world.
Yeah, something that could get could be playable and interesting faster.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, I mean, this is it's basically, it's just an action MOBA. It's really, I mean, it functions very similar. I actually think there's a lot of really cool stuff that we could do if we went that route. And I also think just since it's us that are putting so much time into it. I think it's the kind of thing that would excite all of us more, and I think uh, we'd probably be able to produce a better product for for no other reason than that. But I also think that that would be something that would distinguish us from other MOBAs, and that would bring in different. That would also bring in players that are not necessarily MOBA fans, and I think that could be a really good way to get noticed. I think it could be a lot more successful that way.
Yeah. Well,
But
I'm not really a fan of doing the copycat thing in the sense that, following a League of Legends formula or something like that. I'm a big fan of mixing genres.
yeah, give people a reason to, give them something that they're not getting from something else already.
Exactly. Because, I mean, a lot of MMOs come out with the idea that, oh yeah, we're going to depose World of Warcraft. You're not going to do that. Ever. It's like anyone that sets out with the goal of that is signing themselves up for disappointment because they already have a dedicated, loyal fan base.
Yeah.
They're not going to start off at level 0 in another game because they already have however many thousands of end-level characters with elite gear in World of Warcraft. So, just build a game for the fun of building the game, not with the intention of
Right.
keeping down the big guy.
I think this could be a lot more interesting than even the premise of Monday Night Combat, because I mean, in that you have the same units on each side. It's kind of interesting to have the different units, and I just I don't know. I could see that doing some really cool stuff, and I don't know. I can see this guy jumping on someone's back and stabbing them through the neck.
Yeah.
Something like that. A lot of real cool thing. What do you think, Steve? So,
Yeah, I mean, because I come from that shooter background, I would love to implement some not normal MMO. There's a reason I don't play the standard MMOs because
Right.
I don't like them.
Yeah.
It's,
but yeah, well, the thing is, um, uh, I mean, it's like, and just because this game plays, or this part plays that way, doesn't mean that necessarily that the open world MMO has to play, that way, because it's, I mean, what we're talking about is two separate game styles anyway. Even if it's just a traditional MOBA, that's still going to be different than the open world
Yeah.
thing. It's still like a kind of a mini game inside of a game, but I'm thinking we'd probably want to go for something a little bit more like Gears of War, where it's not first-person shooter, so you can see your guy, but it's kind of over the shoulder, kind of. That character, you can see your characters. See their back and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
well, I mean,
but
that was
it still
kind of the
feels like a
perspective we
first-person
were
shooter.
going, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But
heck, I think it'd be cool to be able to jump into a first-person viewpoint if you wanted to. But,
yeah,
Having the option would be pretty awesome. And from what I've experienced working with Unity, it's very easy to combine multiple game types like that.
right. And it's like, well, I mean, even in Gears, you get certain weapons, and you would zoom in and you would get a first-person perspective. So it could be more incorporated that way. I don't know. I mean, I never missed. Like I tend to think of Gears as a first-person shooter until I'm reminded that it's not.
Yeah, until you're actually playing it.
Because it just feels the same. You know, it just feels like that. But it's cool. I like to see my characters. You
It's
know,
boots on the
especially
ground.
when they look cool. But yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know. It was also definitely different than um, it would definitely be different than Monday Night Combat, which is it that's kind of it's a futuristic like game. It's almost like a Running Man kind of a humor kind of um, you know, it's this um, game show gladiator type thing. So, but I mean, this would be more of a like a serious world kind of thing, and I just think do, all the different from the magic on one side and the high tech things on the other side. I just think there's a lot to make it stand out. But I think the best we could do is just to not make it cheap like that, where you know, and I don't know that they didn't make some improvements and patches later because I gave up on it after a while, but I don't think so because they kind of did have the mentality of it's okay to be in God mode sort of for short periods of time because it's fun and you know.
Well, that and realistically, at the end of the day, if you change something like that, you're gonna take off so much of your fan base that you're gonna lose
Right.
players.
Right, because
And
at that point you already lost people like me who and you know you're gonna lose the people who you know like to giggle snot out their nose when they knock you off the ring, you know. But
well, I think the idea of going in and sort of developing our own take on it is awesome, and we should definitely look at doing that, provided it's not going to destroy Nelson's sanity.
yeah,
But yeah, actually, one of the things that I really liked is sort of an angle with the MOBA and stuff like that was the idea of telling the story of what happens over the course of the war prior to the open world. So a different format like that would make it much easier to do so.
well, I don't know. I don't know that we were going that way. That's kind of news to me because I thought we were. The idea was to have that incorporated with the open world one where you would actually go into that and it would be about more like pushing back in territory gains and stuff and
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it was one of the things that I was sort of fiddling with since the original idea for the MMO was going to be aliens versus humans. So from a storyline perspective, it would be at a point prior to the open world, since at that point they're sort of supposed to have buried their differences and they're kind of sort of getting along. And the main reason for that was I really dislike the A versus B faction, where if I really like a human character and my friend really likes an alien character, one of us has to create a character that we don't like as much in order to play with our buddy. So I wanted to have a mechanic that supported the idea that you could kind of go on either side of that. As part of the storyline, you would need to support that. So,
well, I mean, in the open world, there's plenty. There's plenty of room for being at peace with certain Alethians, at war with certain Alethians, and actually having, some humans that prefer to live with the Alethians and some Alethians that are interested in human culture and living in the cities and stuff. You can do all that kind of stuff. But I think in the mini game, the MOBA stuff, um, it probably it's probably best to just have mostly humans against aliens. But
Well, yeah.
I mean, there might be. I mean, I think it would be interesting if maybe at some point, at least that I think it would be interesting to have humans fight humans and Alethians fight Alethians, without the other species present.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like because I mean I think humans will still find reasons to fight each other over, and so that, I mean, I think that could be incorporated as well. But I think people tend to like when they have the choice of this different group against this different group, they tend to like to to do that. I tend to be more open to, like, oh, it's interesting to play against the same guys. Some people think that's more boring or something. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I think
Well, like one of the things that I was gonna start writing up was sort of a like a scenario type thing. So sort of like I think it was Battlefield 2142 or something like that. That they were looking at. They basically presented the scenario as a historical account, saying who won, and then at the end, at the end of the level, they would show you, depending on who won, how one victory or another would actually change the course of history. So it was sort of a, had they won, this would have happened, sort of thing. And I really liked that because it it gave you more than just an A versus B in this environment type feel. So we could probably do something similar to that. But yeah, that's one of those things I'll write up a proposal and stuff like that to have a little more detail. So we can talk about it then.
Cool. Hey guys, let's take a few minute break. Not because I want to, because I have to.
uh,
Yeah.